Hi guys, in this episode we're going to completely transform the interior of this Mercedes C-Class W205 by installing what is probably one of the most stable, feature-packed and at the same time one of the most affordable digital instrument clusters currently available on the market. This instrument cluster is compatible with Mercedes C-Class and GLC models equipped with NTG 5.0. You'll retain all the original cluster functions while gaining access to 10 different display themes, many of which closely resemble the original digital clusters found in newer Mercedes models. On top of that, it supports both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and both interfaces can be resized all the way to full screen mode. But that's not all. Right now this product is being offered at an extremely competitive price as the manufacturer is actively building brand awareness and expanding its presence in the digital instrument cluster market. The installation is completely plug and play, simple enough that almost anyone can do it, and the entire job takes less than 30 minutes to complete. So stay tuned until the end because this product is a game changer. This digital instrument cluster is sold by REEIIO, which is actually a subsidiary of Auto ABC. As many of you already know from previous videos on this channel, I have installed numerous Auto ABC products on customers' vehicles over the years, and I have never encountered any technical issues or received negative feedback. Let's start with the first step, how you can purchase this cluster and how much it costs. As I mentioned earlier, this cluster can be purchased directly from the REEIIO website. All you need to do is browse their Mercedes-specific products, where you will find not only these digital instrument clusters but also several CarPlay screens that are also available on the Auto ABC website because, as I mentioned before, REEIIO is actually a branch of Auto ABC. On the product page, you'll find a useful installation tutorial, although it's not nearly as detailed as mine, as well as a 22% discount code. Auto ABC is currently focused on increasing its brand awareness and gaining a larger market share, which is why they're offering such aggressive discounts. However, if you add the product to your cart and proceed to checkout, you can use my 23% discount code. I wasn't able to negotiate a larger discount as this price is already the lowest on the market, but at the end of the day, every dollar counts. Keep in mind that my 23% discount code is valid only for 6 months. Let's quickly see what we get for this price. Of course, we have a manual that includes both the installation steps and instructions on how to use the cluster's functions. The installation is very simple and there is really nothing you can do wrong, especially since I will show you everything in detail. The interface is also very user-friendly. I honestly didn't need this manual at all. On the last page, we also have the technical specs of the product. For a Linux-based system, 1GB of RAM and 8GB of storage are more than enough to ensure fast and stable operation. Here we have the wiring harness. The installation is literally plug and play, and you only need to connect 3 connectors that create a bypass, allowing the digital cluster to receive all the information from the original one. There is also a USB-A port for updates as Auto ABC is continuously working on adding new interfaces and features. The system also supports OTA updates, allowing new features and improvements to be installed wirelessly. In fact, the latest update added 2 additional interfaces, bringing the total number from 8 to 10. We also have a T20 Torx driver here to remove the only 2 screws that secure the original cluster in the dashboard. Then we have 2 plastic trim removal tools that could be useful when removing the original cluster housing, although I didn't need them. The digital cluster comes with an OEM-style instrument cluster bezel that perfectly replicates the shape and appearance of the original factory gauge hood. Here we will mount 4 metal clips used to secure it to the cluster display, and here there are 2 openings where the dashboard retaining tabs will fit. This is exactly the same mounting system used by the original cluster in the upper section. Why am I mentioning this? Well, I have seen digital clusters that do not perfectly replicate the original mounting system, and that can lead to rattling noises from vibrations. And here we have, of course, the star of this episode, the 12.3-inch display. I'm sure many of you are wondering whether it will display all of the original warning lights and functions. This cluster supports all the original vehicle functions, so you don't have to worry about a fault not being displayed on the digital cluster. One thing you absolutely should not do is remove the protective film right after unboxing, because you could easily scratch the screen during installation. Here we have the main board with the antennas required for the wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connection. It's incredible that something so small can provide so many functions. The board from the original cluster will be installed behind this one. What's even more impressive is that there is enough space for the original gauge needles. That means you don't even need to remove them, unlike many other digital clusters on the market. Now let's move on to the vehicle so I can show you just how easy the installation is. I will first unclip this cover above the steering column. To remove the original cluster, we need to remove two T20 screws. You'll have to reuse these screws to secure the digital cluster, so try not to lose them. Grab the bezel of the original cluster and pull it toward you. Once the original cluster is unclipped, tilt it slightly to the right so you can access the connector on the back. It is important to mention that the steering wheel must be adjusted all the way down and fully extended outward. That is the only connector plugged into the original cluster. It uses a very simple locking mechanism that I will demonstrate immediately after removing the cluster. If you have paddle extensions installed, they may get in the way a little, but I was still able to remove the cluster without taking them off. The connector plugs in here, and I'll show you in a second exactly how the locking system works. You just press this tab and pull the lever until it reaches the horizontal position. You'll also need a T9 bit, which can be found in any precision screwdriver set, to remove the screws from the original cluster housing. There are 6 screws around the perimeter of the rear housing. On both sides you will find 2 clips. Simply pull them outward and the rear cover will come off easily. At the top you will find a security seal that must be cut. I try to remove it intact, but obviously since it's a seal, that is impossible. Cut it with any sharp tool and remove the rear cover. You can lift the main board straight up very easily, and attached to it you will see 2 dial housings. At this point we can set aside the original bezel because it will no longer be used. The 2 dial housings are removed by twisting them. The one on the right rotates clockwise, while the one on the left rotates counterclockwise. At their base there are small locking tabs that are very easy to press before rotating them. I will use a screwdriver just so you can see it more clearly, but you can simply push the tab with your finger. I do the same thing for the left side. And that's it for the dial housings. We won't be using them with the digital cluster. We will also remove these silver trim rings because they are not secured to anything and could fall inside the digital cluster housing, potentially interfering with the movement of the gauge needles. Now let's move to the digital cluster and place it face down. Take the wiring harness, and the gray connector obviously goes into the gray port. For this connector as well, press the locking tab and lift the plastic lever. I do have an important note here. Make absolutely sure that this connector is fully seated. Even though I have connected hundreds of these connectors, I somehow managed not to push this one all the way in, and when I performed the first test, the display simply would not power on. So pay close attention and push the connector in until there is no gap remaining. I actually had to reopen the housing and reconnect it properly. After that, route the cable along the edge of the housing exactly as shown in the video. Take the original mainboard and place it on top. It snaps into position very quickly. Now we can reinstall the original cluster housing and secure it with screws over the aftermarket mainboard. Make sure all the clips are properly seated, reinstall the screws, and that step is complete. These wires are used for power and factory testing and are not required, so I will secure them with electrical tape. I will now install the clips provided in the box onto the aftermarket bezel so it can snap onto the digital display. Once the display and bezel are assembled, the overall size will be the same as the original cluster, making it slightly more difficult to maneuver into position because of the steering wheel. That's why I recommend leaving this step until the very end. Before installing the cluster back into the vehicle, I will connect the white connector to the rear port exactly as shown in the video. Place the retaining tab, lift the lever, insert the connector, and then lower the lever to secure the connection. I will also secure the cable behind this cable retaining hook. And now I can move to the vehicle to connect and install the digital cluster. I take the original white connector and plug it into the black connector on the wiring harness. And just like that, the cluster is fully functional. After tucking the cables behind the cluster, I proceed with clipping the bezel into place. To secure the bezel, you'll need to use a little force. I like the fact that it provides a very solid fit, helping to prevent rattles and vibration noises. Then I made sure no cables were trapped behind the retaining clips and installed the cluster into its final position. Let me show you how well the cluster integrates into the dashboard. The bezel is very well molded and finished, it has no visible defects and follows the dashboard contours perfectly. I am very pleased with the final result. The cluster powers up and displays a cool startup animation as soon as the doors are opened, and after switching on the ignition, the main screen appears very quickly with all the original warning lights displayed correctly. The gauge needles react just as quickly as those found in factory-equipped digital instrument clusters. I'll let you watch me scroll through the menu now so you can see some of the available settings and functions. The cluster responds very well to commands with no noticeable lag. My unit was pre-configured in Chinese because it was among the first units released on the market, but changing the language is very easy through the settings menu. Fuel consumption is displayed as the maximum value when the vehicle is stationary, but once you start driving, it will show the real-time fuel consumption. I will slightly increase the playback speed because this video is already quite long. In this image, the display shows a GLC, but you can change that in the settings so that it displays a C-Class instead. As I mentioned at the beginning, there are now 10 available interfaces, and Auto ABC will probably continue adding new features through future updates. The brightness of the screen can be adjusted manually, but it is also adaptive. When driving with the daytime running lights on, the cluster operates in daytime mode. As soon as you switch on the low beams, the cluster automatically changes to nighttime brightness. From this menu, you can enable full screen mode for Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Connecting to wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto is extremely simple. All you need to do is connect your phone to the cluster via Bluetooth. If you want to listen to music from CarPlay through the factory audio system, you will also need to connect your phone to the original NTG unit. After enabling the full screen function in the settings menu, a long press of the OK button allows you to display the CarPlay interface across the entire cluster display. The most interesting feature I mentioned earlier is interactive cluster theme control, which allows you to change the cluster interface directly from the CarPlay display. This particular vehicle did not have a CarPlay screen installed, but AutoABC also sells CarPlay screens on the REEIIO website that pair perfectly with this cluster. And guess what the best part is? AutoABC agreed to let the same discount code DIY- be used not only for the cluster itself, but also for the ultra-slim 12.3-inch Linux-based CarPlay displays that support the feature I just demonstrated. A setup like this can make a 10-year-old Mercedes look like a brand new vehicle that would cost 10 times as much today. You can find all the links and discount codes in the description and in the first pinned comment. I hope this tutorial was helpful. If it was, don't forget to tap or click those magical like and subscribe buttons, and of course, if you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave a comment below. Until next time, I wish you all the best.